How's it going, guys? Right now you're watching some of the Spider-Man PS4 footage of the Heist DLC. Now, before I continue on into the review of this DLC, I want to mention one disclaimer. There will be actually no spoilers, but I do want to talk about spoilers, but I will include that near the end of the video, and I also will mention when I will be getting into the spoilerish territory. It's going to be mainly about the story, that the spoiler section I'm going to be talking about. But before that, let's continue on something that we are safe to go through. Of course, if you have not played it and you just want to hear my opinion about it. Now, again, this is off-script kind of commentary I want to make because, well, first of all, I didn't have enough time. And I just recently woke up after playing it all night long. Probably not a good idea. Now, first of all, I want to mention how long is this story, and is it a good kind of a section for a DLC? Should it be considered that, right, as well? Number one is that it took me about 1 hour and 30 minutes altogether to complete a full story. Now, as well, I wanted to mention I have played this on spectacular difficulty. I did not play it through after the new Game Plus mode. I just went back to my save slot file from the very first time I've done it. I got like 100% completion trophy on that as well. I just played it from there. So basically, continuing on, it completely lines up with the story as soon as you finish it up. The main game story, the vanilla anyway of it, and continuation after a couple of months. Well, obviously you've seen the credits roll. So it makes sense why this is a DLC. I actually want to say that was not a good idea to put it into the main story, and I agree with Insomniac, because Insomniac has mentioned that this is a DLC wouldn't have made sense to be put into the main game's territory. I completely agree. I completely agree, because the sections and the stuff that they get into, obviously we will all know that it's about BlackCat as well in there. It's a very good story as well. I loved the turns. Not gonna get into what they are specifically because that will be spoilers again, but I will mention it in the spoiler territory section near the end of the video again. Now, as well as what did I think about the story and how the pacing went on? I believe so. It was really good. Short, unfortunately, but this is a DLC and it's to be expected. And as well, I'm a little bit surprised it costs $10, €10, however you want to consider it. And because I think it's actually pretty damn cheap for the price that we are getting. Now, as well as it took me altogether about 2 hours to complete, but that's also including the stuff that are in the world. And I mean, I have not done everything to a 100% completion, and I will definitely do it. I think right after this commentary, I think I will have everything done as soon as this video will be uploaded. What else is there anything to talk about? The animations is fantastic. The story background is fantastic. They definitely went a little bit different on this. And Felicia Hardy, there's a lot more backstory about her and her family. And obviously, it's not really a spoiler, I think, because there are some sections of it I'm not going to get into. Spoiler. But anyway, so just as well as Mary Jane, Miles Morales, they're making a comeback, the return anyway. We actually don't see Miles Morales, but there's one bullshit moment. I don't really like it. I think it slowed down the whole pace, but I'm thankful the way it was pretty damn short. We got to play as Mary Jane again, because in the main stories, you know, when we play Mary Jane, and that's actually the weakest part of the game, because we get to play Mary Jane. Miles Morales, not as many people considered him to be as a weak section of the story, right? Because it was actually somewhat entertaining as well to go through and see it all. But Mary Jane's was the weakest of them all, and unfortunately, it makes a comeback. It makes a return. But I'm thankful the way it only made it was introduced once. Now, there were some other parts of the mission. I think we just want to be more specific. That was a little bit what the hell. But it kind of makes sense because they wanted a little bit going onto the story wise. And it's pretty cool. I can't say much about it. Now, overall, I'm not gonna make this video completely in depth. I'm not gonna make this video completely professional style, whatever. It's just more of a casual kind of a little bit of a conversation I wanted to have about this. Sounds good. Barely any glitches I noticed as well. A new game type of the enemies, the mafia type. And there's also a new kind of a mini boss, I want to say. Just because the mini boss is like a guy, a big dude, right? He comes out with a machine gun, and that was pretty entertaining. So far, I have encountered in the story of him anyway was about, I believe so, maybe 4, 5, maybe. But I'm still trying to figure out how to take care of them as quickly as possible, because it seems like webbing them up is not as effective as I used to remember. Because electrocuting them doesn't seem like it's very effective either. I think I just need to figure out how to take care of them quickly as possible, and maybe it was done on purpose as well. I did like as well the implementations from the old enemies to the new enemies. I'm not gonna mention what it is, and it's a nice twist. There's also some other twisted moments, not in a bad way, definitely not. In the story, I'm not gonna mention. God, I can't mention a lot of things. You know what? I think I'm done with the review of non-spoilerish thing. What I think about it so far, guys, I'm gonna say probably it's not as good as the main story, obviously, but it's very high up there. That's for a guarantee. Would you should you get a DLC standalone? I actually would say get a whole damn season pass of it. Well, whatever it is, just get a whole thing. City that never sleeps expansion. Just get all of them, because it seems like it's really good and it's good for a price as well. And I definitely will consider it getting it. Anyway, now this is a spoiler territory. Be warned, I will bloody mother of God spoil this thing. And if you do not want to know what the hell is happening after in this story, leave right now. Anyway, so let's get in. The story was very entertaining. I want to mention this. BlackCat, I can't believe this, in fact. We got to date BlackCat before, because remember, Mary Jane Watson, we broke up with her, and then we were going out with BlackCat. There's not much full of a story that went into it, but that was so entertaining. And BlackCat tells us that she can't just back down from the fight because, she has to steal stuff because they have her son. And Peter makes the assumption, because, he had some, sex with her and everything, like when they were a couple. That's kind of interesting as well, by the way. When they were a couple for a bit, like, he actually considered, or actually he thought that son could have been his. And something deep in my mind, I was like, oh, please, let this be real. I really wanted to see that Peter would have a son with BlackCat. Just wow, it was such a cool implementation for a story, such a nice turn of the events I would never have considered. But as well, what makes it up even better is the reaction when Peter tells Mary Jane indirectly that saying, I might have a son. Well, he didn't exactly say it like that. She pieced the puzzle together, basically. And she was like a little bit pissed off. She kind of forgiven him, and then I kind of understand, like, he's such a mess in Peter's situation right now, but yet kind of Mary Jane forgives him as well a little bit. She kind of accepts the fact, and Peter was accepting it a little bit as well. But well, what do you expect from a cat? That's so bad, man. I was so disappointed. She was lying about it just to have Spider-Man's help to take care of the guys, so she could steal those 5 hard drives and to sell them for good bucks of money. It's just unfortunate. It really is unfortunate. I was really hoping for her to have a son. And in fact, would have been better, our son, Spider-Man's son, Peter Parker's. God, that would have been so amazing. I actually would see Peter Parker maturing in this fact. That would have been awesome. And to be honest, me personally, I think that Peter Parker, well, let's say this, Spider-Man and BlackCat are a much better match than Peter Parker and MJ. That's my personal opinion, and I'm kind of hoping. And by the way, wow, BlackCat looks hot. Even that suit, she, like the figure of her, it looks really good. She looks good. Like, for a model of the figure of how she looks and her attitude, that way she talks, it's sexy, and she tries to be sexy. I don't think she even tries to be. I think she is naturally sexy. We also get to find out about her father, and that's actually in very nice implementations that you go around the New York, figure out where the paintings that have been hidden, very expensive hidden paintings by her father in the past. We figure it out, and we uncover bits of story about Felicia's father, and it was actually very interesting to hear this out. And he kind of admitted the fact that saying to the cop, I'm not sure, I got like, I think was out of 10 pictures, I got a 6 or 7 by far, so far anyway. And he pretty much said like he was training her to the cop, and then they were together, and then, you know, obviously police kind of puzzled pieces together, and then said, wait, was this a business kind of relationship, or was this a little bit closer? And then he kind of dodged the question, Spider-Man did. So that was a very nice, interesting idea. As well as the other thing, Felicia Hardy might be dead, because at the very end of the story, even though Spider-Man did warn her a lot of times, saying that do not go to your apartment, to your place, because the bombs has been rigged. If you open the door, you will blow up. But she still did it anyway, while smiling, facing towards Spider-Man while opening the door at the same time. And you get to see Hammerhead as well, with his scarred up face and everything. If you're not familiar with Hammerhead, I believe, fellas, sorry, it's just because he has a hammer head, basically. He's like a hammer head. I mean, that's the description's in the title, anyway. Yeah, so you can't really break his head. His head is hard as hell. But anyway, basically as well, it's just awesome to find out a little bit more about this, because like it says when we predict that we think that Felicia is dead, BlackCat is dead, it just says to be continued. Now this is obviously going to be going to the part of the episode 2 in the storyline, and for the DLC anyway. So I kind of making a puzzle of how this is gonna go down. Episode 1 was the heist about the BlackCat. Number 2 is the turf wars. It's gonna be a little bit more about Hammerhead and gang wars and all that good stuff. Maybe BlackCat will make a return as well, because it just says to be continued when you finish up a story. Episode 2, I mean. And number 3 of the episode, of the DLC anyway, says like silver lining, I think it was called, or was it silver lining? I think it's yeah. Anyway, but basically that part was actually, you know, who is gonna make a return, because she is kind of a couple with the Hammerhead, or at least that what I consider to be couple because of the comic books. Now, of course, if you know what I'm talking about, then you definitely would know. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then you would know. Maybe that's a good thing as well, because it kind of makes the story a little more interesting. Now, this actually makes a whole lot of story into the Spider-Man game that's just like completely going in a different route, and I can completely see why these DLCs are on a different objectives, and I actually don't see how would this make any sense to be implemented into the main storyline. Now, granted, to be honest with you, finding cats in the main story as well, just, you know, killing cats, and then Felicia actually awards us with a suit, and for free, that really did not make sense. I think it would have been made more sense if that part would have been in this DLC. But granted, there are a lot of stuff that to be seen and to do. Anyway, I think I spoiled enough. Wow, I feel like the spoiler section was a little longer than actually just a normal review I wanted to make. But anyway, hopefully you have enjoyed this commentary and my opinion about it. Really am entertained. I cannot wait for the episode 2 to release next month, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Now, obviously, a couple of extra days, and we're gonna get our hands on Red Dead Redemption 2. So I'm gonna be all over that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe, guys. I really do appreciate you checking out my channel. And really do. It's been an awesome one. It's been an awesome one. Anyway, I'm going to let you go now. Have a good one.